Hey guys, welcome back to another video where we will be looking at AgilePoint Connector for gRPC service. gRPC, also known as Google Remote Procedure Call, is an open source, high performance RPC framework developed by Google. It is designed to facilitate communication between distributed systems. gRPC uses a contract first API development model by using its protocol buffer as its interface definition language. Protocol buffers are a language agnostic mechanism for serializing structured data, enabling efficient data exchange between different systems. gRPC supports multiple programming languages including C#, C++, Java, Python, Go, Ruby, and many others, making it highly versatile and accessible for developers working in different language ecosystems. Using this generic connector, you can invoke a gRPC-enabled service from your business process. Let's look at this in action. So I'm in my AgilePoint portal right now. Now, before connecting to any system, we have to create an access token to connect to that system. Now, an access token can be created at a global level and shared across applications, or we can create it at an app level and restrict it to be used within that app. In my case, I'm going to create it at global level, so I'm going to go to Manage, App Builder, Global Access Token. I already have a gRPC token created, but I'm going to create one from scratch. So I'm going to go to Add Token, search for gRPC, select it, click Next, give it a name. Now, the first thing I have to enter is the gRPC server URL. So once my service is ready, I will publish it to one of the cloud servers or wherever I wanted to host it. And I would get a URL just like any SOAP web service. So I'm going to paste my URL. I have deployed it on an Azure website. Now next, I have to specify the protobuf definition type. Now it has multiple options. I can either enable server reflection in my gRPC service by adding a NuGet package. You can do that. And I have done that for my service. So I'm going to use the server reflection so it can figure out the protobuf definition by directly connecting to the service. I can say import protobuf definition file from a URL. If I selected that, I have to provide a URL where this definition file is kept. I can say import protobuf definition from a local file, in which case I have to upload that file. Or I can enter one manually over here as well. In my case, as I said, I'm going to use server reflection because I've enabled it. Now my service is TLS enabled, so I'm going to go ahead and check this. Now next, I have to specify how do I want to authenticate against this service. I'm going to click Configure. It supports both basic authentication as well as OAuth2 authentications, and within OAuth2 there are various authentication provider types which are supported just like any other access token. So you can use those. In my case, the service is protected with basic authentication, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. And I'm going to go ahead and click Generate, Insert. Now next, I'm going to click Test Connection, and it tells me the connection is successful, and I can finally go ahead and click Save. In my case, I've already created the token, so I'm going to cancel this out. Next, I'm going to go to App Builder, Recent Apps. I've already created a sample app. I'm going to drill down into that, open the process model. Now what you will see is within the process model, under the web services stencil, you have a new activity called gRPC service, which I have dragged and dropped on my design surface over here. I'm going to show you the configuration, so I can give it a nice looking name. I can select the previously created access token from the drop-down. Next, I can select the services which are available at that particular gRPC URL. So I can select that. And within that, what methods are available. So one of the methods I'm going to invoke is get employee details. So in my scenario, I'm going to pass in the employee name, and based on the employee name, it will give me back the employee details. Next, I have to specify my request mapping. Now, since there is a protobuf definition already available, I can say auto discover request schema. And in that case, I can just go ahead and do the mapping just like I have done over here. On the left hand side, what you see is the AgilePoint schema, both form and process variables. And on the right hand side, you see my gRPC service has only one parameter, which is called name, and I have mapped it to my employee name. Now, I could have entered it manually as well. In case the protobuf definition was not accessible to me, I could enter the payload manually and then map the schema. In my case, since it is available, I'm going to use that. Similarly, I can do the same thing for response mapping. I can either auto-discover the response schema or manually enter it and simulate it. In my case, since I already know that the protobuf definition is available, I have mapped it. In this case, now on the left-hand side, you see the gRPC return structure. And on the right hand side, what you're seeing is the AgilePoint schema. So I've mapped the fields and go ahead and click finish. Now the scenario is very simple. I've created a couple of sample forms to show you the concept. So the first form has just one field. I'm going to enter the username, invoke the gRPC service to retrieve user details and show it on the next form. I'm going to go to Work Center, My Apps. I'm going to invoke the gRPC demo application. I'll select the employee name from drop down. I'll select John Smith and click Submit. This kicks off a process. I'm going to go to Inbox, Tasks. I have a new task over here. When I bring up the process viewer, you can see that the first form got submitted and my gRPC service has already been invoked. Now I'm going to go ahead and drill down into this activity. For the sake of demo, I have made myself the participant of each step so that I don't have to log in and log out. So if I go to participant and open the next form, you can see now it retrieved based on the username all the other information. So it retrieved employee ID, full name, age, email, department, phone number, date of joining, and the address of that employee from the gRPC service. I can go ahead and click Submit, and that completes my process. So that brings us to the end of this video. As you can see, now we can invoke a gRPC enabled service from our business process. Thanks a lot for your time.